All right, what is up, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Guys, I'm kind of coming over a cold, so my voice isn't the best right now, but bear with me. But also, I want to wish you guys, I know it's a day later, but happy Thanksgiving. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your family and friends and appreciating all the things you have and that you're thankful for, because I know I am. So now, like I said, I was sick. And so during all that sickness, my family went to my in-laws and I just, stayed home because, I didn't want to get anybody sick. So between football, I watched this Being Eddie documentary. And let me tell you, it's pretty dang good. So far as if you're new to the channel, I have a scoring system 0 to 5, 0 being trash and 5 being a masterpiece. And I gave it a solid 3 out of 5. And so a lot of the reason why I gave it that was because this documentary, there's nothing new, there's nothing groundbreaking. It airs on the positive side. There's nothing controversial in it, but it's just you get to be with Eddie Murphy sitting on a chair and basically going over his career and how everything started. And he's so charismatic, and it's a great time. It's a great time, and what it does is it reminds you of just he was that guy. Eddie, excuse me, Eddie was that dude. A lot of people crown Dave Chappelle as the GOAT. I never have, but when I look at it this way, when you talk about comics, like I think you got to add stand up in there. And with Chappelle, most people crown him the GOAT is because of his show, The Chappelle Show, which is a groundbreaking show that I definitely enjoyed and love to this day. But you don't really think of Dave's stand up as much as like, are any of his specials considered like all time greats? Well, let me tell you whose is. We have Eddie. He has two, particularly Raw is probably a top three, top five of all time. Matter of fact, it's the all time grossing stand up film of all time to this day. And it's almost, I want to say, I think Raw maybe came out in 87. So it's almost 40 years old. And it's still to this day, in my Deontay Wilder voice, to this day, number one of all time. And then Delirious. Some people argue Delirious is funnier. I don't know who those people are.
Who are these niggas?
I cry.
But I will say Delirious is definitely probably a top 10 of all time. It's not in that top 5 though. But Raw, you could argue Raw being the greatest of all time, definitely top 5 of all time. Also, Eddie got pipes. Eddie can sing. We know the collab with Rick James, Party All the Time, charted on the Billboard Hot 100, made it all the way up to number 2. And then some of you may not know, but he also collabed with Michael Jackson. That What's Up With You? I remember because I think I was like 11. See, 93. Yeah, I was 11. And I think I remember watching the video. I think it came on during In Living Color. I could be wrong, but I think that's where I saw it. They showed it on In Living Color. And I remember me and my cousin Brian coming, what's up? What's up? What's up? I mean, I'm telling you, looking back now, I'm like, this is some weird shit. But hey, Mike and Eddie, hey, what you gonna do? I mean, I don't know who called who, but hey, they collabed together. I just thought the song was real weird, but it is what it is. And then he could get you with the dramatic side, Oscar nominated for Dreamgirls. He played the hell out of that role. And I think as far as actors go, Jamie Foxx might be just above Eddie as far as being like that triple threat. Cause musically, he's got him beat, hands down, he's got him beat. But Eddie, you look at the other stuff, Eddie's right there with him. He's right there with Jamie. Now, I think with this documentary, for a lot of people, like I said, if you're a person of a certain age, none of this is new. But like I said, I think a lot of this was put out just to let people know, hey, this is who I am. Because Eddie has taken long breaks from Hollywood. He's taken a long breaks from Hollywood. And I think also, a lot of people sleep on him because his career, there really hasn't been controversy. Now, there's one There's been that one, because if you don't know, it's in 1997, I believe, he got stopped by the police because they thought he was out there cruising. He had a transvestite or trans, like they call them transvestites back in the day. But anyway, he had one in his car, and he explained to the authorities that, oh, I was just being a good Samaritan, was giving this person a ride or whatever. And so he got a little guff about that for a while, but it kind of just blew over, kind of, went away. But they definitely didn't bring that up in the documentary. That was not mentioned at all in the documentary. And like I said, it's not to any surprise. I mean, when you have these kind of documentaries, like I said, when the person's alive or they're heavily involved, they're gonna leave shit out that they don't want to address, don't want to be questioned about, or it may make them look in a bad light. I mean, you look at something like The Last Dance. There's stuff that Jordan left out of there. He left it out for a reason that he didn't want to have to discuss or it be talked about. So that's one of the pitfalls about like documentaries like this, where the person is still alive or they're heavily involved. They're going to leave stuff out because they're in charge. They're going to control it. And I think also like his story is like he's been pretty clean. So, a lot of people forget about you, but if you're full of controversy, which a lot of comics are, you can go down the list of the tragic, the amazing beginnings and the tragic endings for a lot of comics, because a lot of comics, they bring light to a lot of people, but a lot of them are dealing with dark things inside, and that's kind of like the story you hear about the comic, and like I said, Eddie didn't have any of that. Like his brother, R.I.P. Charlie Murphy, talks about it during the Chappelle skits about Rick James, where he would say, if you look at the behind the scenes, like he talks about, people will offer Eddie stuff and Eddie's like, nah, I'm good. And he break off. Well, Charlie's like, I'll take it. So like, I think, I think that's just who Eddie was. And then I think Eddie's also seen what happens, the trappings of that life that have happened to contemporaries of his, and he didn't want that to happen. He talks about them. Like he talks about how he had to pay and bury Red Fox, because he didn't have any money, and that's what I said. The drugs and the alcohol and the excess of that life, it will get to you. And so I just think Eddie he was like, I'm cool. I'm gonna get my money. And and he looks great. He looks great to be a man, and probably I think he's in his mid 60s, and he looks really good. But yeah, outside of that, guys, there's not a whole lot to it, but it's great to go down memory lane. And for those of you who may be too young and not know a whole lot about Eddie Murphy, it's great for you to go back and check it out. Because like I said, it goes back the SNL days. Like, now I was a baby when Eddie was probably on SNL, because that'd have been in the early 80s. But me and my cousins, we used to watch my uncle Marcus had the VHS. They had a best of Eddie Murphy on SNL, and we were like little kids watching it, falling in love with all the characters, Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, Velvet Jones, which James Brown, Gumby, when he played Buckwheat, the adult version of Buckwheat. Hey, it's me, Buckwheat. You remember me? Like, they did a whole thing where Buckwheat got assassinated, like Reagan did. He died. Reagan survived, of course. But yeah, like I said, you just go down memory lane. But like I said, it's nothing groundbreaking. But like I said, you sit down with Eddie Murphy, very charismatic. There's parts of it where you're like, he still got it. Like he has these two dolls, and one is of Bill Cosby, and the other's Richard Pryor. And if you saw Raw, you know the whole Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby situation. But then he does a little skit with them about the pills, and it's hilarious. Like I said, you got to check it out. Like, Eddie, to me, is a guy. There's certain people, like, they're just funny. They're just funny people. Like, man, like Cat Williams. Cat Williams is just a funny dude. Like he could just be funny. Just you sit, talk, he's funny. Like Kevin Hart, I don't think he's funny like that. Like there's certain people like Mike Epps, Cat Williams, Eddie Murphy, like they're just funny, like Dave Chappelle, funny dudes, you know. And, you just see Eddie in that element. Like he's just funny, like I said, very charismatic, and he probably has a ton of stories because of just where he wasn't where he's at in time or whatever. But yeah, guys, I don't want to keep it too long. Plus, my voice is starting to go out again. And so, guys, like I always say, if it's for 1 minute, 5 minutes, or the whole damn video, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to view my content. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe, smash the like, and get in the comments. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.